Hello everybody and welcome back to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 on the map Eye of Horus, normally seen as a 3v3 map with starting positions in the left, center and right side of the map. And today we have Totally Not Squid in the bottom in blue, playing as Cortex and starting bots, with in red Lopatka, we've seen quite a bit on the channel. Cortex vehicles actually as a start here. Now, what do we know about this map? Well, first things first, all these hills across the middle here can be traversed via bots. So by Lopatka going vehicles as a start, he is going to limit his movement considerably. Even this hill section in the middle that kind of looks like a cliff is actually very transversable by bots. Also, on the left side of the map here, and this will be the same for the right side, these little cliff parts here can also be traversed by bots. So, Lopatka really limiting his options straight off the bat here. Now, why would he be doing that? Well, as you should be aware, vehicles are a lot more tankier than bots, meaning they're able to push out a substantial more amount of damage over time, considering they can last longer than bots, but they pay for that with their mobility. Vehicles as well tend to have a higher total movement speed than bots, so they can cover large distances quicker than a equal group of bots. So, another thing, actually, is being Cortex, it gives the access to the Rascal, which is the scout vehicle of Cortex. Now, we can see that Lopatka has two scouts out in the same time that there's just one grunt slowly moving forward to scout positions. Now, the scout that Lopatka had going south hasn't managed to do anything as it's been blown up, but it did give a good positional location, and the scout here for Lopatka on the right has also just kind of posted up on the right here to give a bit of a warning if units come by that way, which we're about to see that happen. So, what do we expect from this game? I expect the early stages to be quite slow. We are seeing both commanders rather, moving towards the middle section. From the middle here, you can contest both left and right lanes with fair ease. However, what it does mean is that each player is going to have to send their units to the left and right in order to actually be able to do any form of contention there. So what I expect to see this map is most players' units on the left and right sides, commanders mainly tussling over the middle here, and I expect the middle to not really be held properly by any player, as what's generally going to happen is if, let's say, we see Totally Not Squid's comm is positioned on the left, right? And Lopatka's is also positioned on the left. That completely opens up the right-hand side. So if Lopatka happens to move into the far left lane here in order to kind of do a bit of damage to the actual stuff on the left, I expect Totally Not to push through into the left, from the right, middle, and do a bunch of damage into that area, and that will kind of just keep going on and until someone gets a clear victory on the lanes. Good early raid here with the bots, as we were talking. I say good. That was 3 grunts for 1 metal extractor. That was not a good raid. But we can see so far, economy-wise, metal, Lopatka's a little bit ahead. And energy-wise, Totally Not Squid is ahead. Now, interestingly enough, Lopatka has left this metal extractor on his side. Now, this is dangerous because if Lopatka loses this position, then Totally Not can just path units straight over this hill in order to get to Lopatka's base. So that's not a good position to lose out on. Now, talking about bots versus vehicles, bots obviously cost substantially less, and we're starting to see that now with there being 10 grunts versus 6 incisors here. Vehicles are going to struggle if these units go over the hill. He's not going to be able to stop them, and a good group of 4 grunts do manage to make it over the hill here. Lopatka has the choice. Do we fall back and try and defend what's been leaked through, or do I push? And he has decided to push through with those units. On the left-hand side, again, we're seeing Totally Not getting more units to flank round there. And he's hoping, Lopatka is, that this LLT or this incisor will be enough to stave off this breakthrough, which it does do a decent job at it. Lopatka unable to make any headway with those forces, but doesn't lose anything. Meanwhile, the grunts that were up on the left do get cleared up effectively, and no real substantial damage is done. Now, one LLT is enough for a D-gun to walk into, a commander to walk into, and D-gun with very little effort. And here we see Totally Not Squid actually almost taking full control of the middle here. Lopatka deciding to actually not go back with these forces of incisors, and Totally Not transitioning over to vehicles himself, which is a interesting choice. Considering he has such a strong advantage in this middle section, I'm surprised he's not doubling down on bots with the idea he's just going to push over this hill here. This is a very bad position for Lopatka to be in. Both players currently struggling with energy as well. This left side is very heavily secured by Lopatka though. We are about to see more economy damage done by Lopatka. Totally Not is going to lose a couple of mexes. I'm surprised he didn't slope round there, but this middle section actually gets completely cleared up and is now totally in control of Totally Not. We do see the transition over from fast-moving vehicles here, the incisors, over to something a little bit more heavier in the brutes and the pounders. Pounders going to be perfect at countering those fast-moving grunts and will be paramount to holding this middle section here. Energy-wise, both players not really great on their energy production. See, some of it got destroyed at Lopatka's base, which we must have missed, but LLT field does manage to get taken out, and Totally Not is now getting pushed out from his little stronghold position that he had managed to set up. Unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to capitalize on that location soon enough. There's going to be a sizable chunk of reclaim there at the end of this. Pounders now showing their worth. Pounders with a very large amount of impulse damage. And if you're not sure what that means, you can see that in work right now, as the impulse is basically the equivalent of knockback in this game. And this scout may eventually kill this constructor. Never mind. LLT gets built, straight away dead. But Totally Not managing to temporarily, at least, regain control of that. I'm surprised he's not desperately rushing resbots there to get that reclaim as soon as he can. At the moment, they're just down here resurrecting the earlier raids. Both players' army value at this point in time is basically even. Damage, again, even. Metal and energy produced is currently favoring Lopatka. He does have a good chunk of the map, as we can see here. Lopatka uncontested on the left side entirely. And the right side, he is in a very strong position. does he quite have the force here in order to push in? There is a sizable amount of pounders there. 4 pounders for 4 brutes. But a great D-gun from Totally Not completely turns that tide. 3 of the brutes completely destroyed, and now it is definitely in Totally Not's favor. And being able to get up on this high ground with the commander here is huge. Resbots finally arriving and being able to do a good job at actually resurrecting. Now we may see a very quick turn here, as a large amount of units are going to be resurrected on the front line. Most of them are going to be in sizes. They're not a great deal. So artillery is left out in the open. Luckily enough, Lopatka is paying attention enough to react quick enough. Desperately trying to get into that artillery's range so that they can take it out, but pounders are not to be sneezed at. Pounders are very slow, very, very slow. But in a position where you're trying to defend against things pushing you, like this artillery, they are very, very, very powerful. He's able to effectively stop the units pushing him, and he is now having to deal with being artillery bombarded. Oh, he's got a big group of tanks though on the right, about to push through and cause some problems for Lopatka. Now Lopatka does have forces going to react to that, but he has pushed everything around, and we actually see Lopatka transitioning over to Tech 2. It's maybe a bit of a risky time. His commander is way, way far on the left here and is not able to defend the base whatsoever. Lopatka, with no forces at all in and around his base, got 3 brutes and a single pounder here. This is going to be a massive economy hit on Lopatka here. The Tech 2 factory did not get finished. He has actually stopped building it at this point in time. That's a lot of metal in that to just leave, though. And here comes the second wave of forces from the middle here. There are a few LLTs in the base, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. This is going to be a massive base destruction here. And Squid is very much aware that that Tech 2 is being built, and this is going to be a complete base wipe. Lopatka is going to lose his entire base here, and I don't know how he's going to be able to come back from this. There goes the Tech 2. That was half built. All of his energy production and base is gone. His factory is gone. But in the meantime, we see the same thing about to happen to Totally Not Squid here. Unfortunately for Lopatka here, he does have substantially more defenses set up and more units set up to defend. Surprisingly, we don't see either player go for a self-D on the LLTs here to kind of get a bit of extra damage dealt. These windmills are very well spread out as well, causing not much chaining damage to happen. No construction turrets, no factories destroyed there, but a energy hit nonetheless. The question is, how can Lopatka come back from this? Desperately trying to hold on. Pushing out resbots as quick as he can, although not actively using it. 5k metal almost sat there, 4.5k. These tanks are still going. Gonna try and get as much damage as they can, which is a smart move by Lopatka here. Trying to just slow down Totally Not Squid here. Do as much damage as he can. This would be a perfect time for Squid to either himself transition to Tech 2, because he knows that it's going to take Lopatka a while to build back up, or just go all in and just completely wipe him out. And it does seem to me like Lopatka is, well, doing a good job here, but Not Squid is actually not doing anything. He does get the Geo in the corner, though. Totally Not kind of just hanging fire and just freely losing a bunch of wind here to this one tank that has 20 health that is now dead. Interesting. Totally Not is trying to gather some forces up, but I don't know what was going on there. He's kind of just freely kind of letting Lopatka rebuild. Lopatka resurrecting all the units that were in his base. This is going to mean he's going to be able to stay alive. He is accessing metal right now, which is obviously not what you want. Lopatka also didn't actually lose any of his constructors. It was just, obviously, all the energy. His commander has been very, very heavily just building energy for days. As you can see, like, the wall here of energy that he's been slowly building up. And that left side has been very well contained for a while. We do see, actually, a transition over to air for the shurikens of Totally Not. This is going to mean that Lopatka is going to have to invest in some AA in order to not get his whole army wiped here. But there are a lot of LLTs in this middle section now. Now, Lopatka is aware he needs to hold this left side. If he loses the left side, he's going to lose all of his energy production. And if that happens, then it is well and truly GG. Now, the transition again to Tech 2 here. Will it get finished this time? He's still resurrected everything. He does have the metal banked as well, so this is a good time. Surprisingly, as well, we see Lopatka doing the opposite of what is normally suggested. Normally, when a transition to Tech 2 happens, you normally hold back on your units and kind of just wait. But we see Lopatka here going basically all in with all of the units he has and basically losing his entire army to Totally Not. And it's going to take him a while to get some like Tech 2 forces out. He does have some engineers coming out now, which is going to help. He is ahead on metal still, so right hand side manages to get broken through by a few brutes. Shurikens are not reacting quick enough to go deal with it. Now they're going, but it's a bit late now. The whole front line has been collapsed. And look how many tanks are in this middle section here. 22 brutes by Totally Not. That's going to push through any line of LLTs that they come across. That's not going to cause any problems at all. And still no Tech 2 transition from Totally Not. We are starting to see some tigers coming out. This left-hand side is slowly getting picked away on. The simple solution to this left side would be just 1 or 2 artilleries, though. And they would be able to slowly pick away whilst not donating any kind of forces. Totally Not's commander here, going to get in the action a little bit. And just good constant harass here from Lopatka. It's forcing Totally Not to spread their forces out quite a way, and this is a really surprising comeback from Lopatka here after losing so much of his base early on. We see another push here into the base. Tech 2 tanks are not close enough. Is he going to lose his Tech 2 factory again? There are no forces ready to stop these tanks. And there goes the Tech 2. He does have resbots there. If he can not lose the wreck, he can get it back up. Now we can see 1% left on it. He does manage to keep the wreck alive. That is very close. We saw Totally Not there prioritizing damaging the Tech 2 factory there, even after it had been destroyed, with the intention of denying the resurrect. But by great micro, Lopatka managing to get units in front And that meant that he's going to be able to resurrect that. Now, Lopatka's commander may be in a bit of trouble here. 59% HP and having to micro his commander versus a bunch of brutes. 40%, 38%, 3 brutes remaining. Support has arrived, but he's going to sacrifice a Tech 2 engineer for this, maybe? No, 23%. Lopatka in real danger. He needs to dodge. Go for the D-gun. Go for the D-gun. Oh, 11% health. Lopatka just barely managing to hold on with his commander. And here comes another wave. This time with actual air support of the shurikens. Will he manage to be able to hold his base again? So many LLTs up here. This time he seems to be prioritizing construction turrets over the factory. And unfortunately, that attack also did nothing. Now, what we're seeing here is a bit of a problem from Totally Not, because he's now just donated another 4k metal into this area. Now, if he uses that for resurrects, then obviously that's a lot of units. But if he doesn't and just uses that for eco, he's going to be able to get so many tigers out. And we see Totally Not still not transitioning over to Tech 2. There's a huge swarm of resbots here, but can't exactly do much. Also, Totally Not has kind of... He's not been contesting the sides here. Like, he's occasionally sent a few across, but now look at the army value. Basically, Lopatka has double the army value of Lopatka. Sorry, no, the other way around. Let me rephrase that. Lopatka has double the army value of Totally Not. And I don't know how much longer, surprisingly, Totally Not will be able to hang on without transitioning. He has gone to Tech 2 himself here, but Fiends versus Tigers, I don't see that coming off as a very good deal. No AA in that Tiger blob there, though, which is a mistake from Lopatka, as all of these are then going to get cleaned up, and that blob of resbots is just going to come over here and resurrect all of that. But, uh-oh. That was a lot of free damage to Totally Not. And a missed D-gun. Totally Not losing his position left and right. Yet again, no air defense on any of these like forces that are coming in at all. Meaning they're going to be able to be like relatively easily held at bay here. We see these on the right side again. Just a bunch of shurikens. Shurikens are very cheap units. They do get one hit by, you know, Tech 1 AA, but still. See here, another attack. 4 units, 5 units. Not a single piece of air defense going in with this. If he resurrects all this, which he is doing, he's just, in essence, giving army value to Totally Not. We actually see army value now down to 14%. That was up at 90% a minute ago. Do we see a self-destruct of any of these fiends? No. Oh, Resbot's in a very bad position there. All of them get grabbed. And now the tables have turned again back towards Totally Not. Huge swarm of shurikens come in. There is a single flak. Is trying to be microed down. And the flak is gone, leaving no air defense at all. Second flak about to come in. It's forcing the shurikens back and also forcing Totally Not back again. Wow. This game is very, very much to and fro. I'm surprised that no one's managed to come out on top here. Metal per second, though, just quickly looking at economy. Look at the huge metal production difference here. 174 metal a second for Lopatka. 59 for Totally Not Squid. 59. That is such a huge metal difference here. And Totally Not somehow managing to hold on. And with only a single air defense in these army pushes now, they are going to be relatively easy to, you know, EMP down. If you can get that flak dead very quickly or EMP'd, that whole army will be dead to shurikens. Shurikens are super cheap to produce. 58 metal. Which, actually, he literally just cancelled the production of them. What's this? Tech 1 bot lab. And still only going Fiends here. Oh, interesting. There is a severe lack of radar on the left side. And that Tsar getting built is going to make the Fiends very, very much not as efficient as before. And there we see the EMP on the air defense. Banishers, though, however, do have their own air defense. Like, they can target air without a single missile. It is a bit of a waste versus a shuriken, but they can technically do it. Oof. And I would have to say that I believe this is now the end for Totally Not. The combination of forces that Lopatka has now amassed is going to make it very, very difficult for Totally Not to be able to bring this back. Banishers are going to force you to engage because you can't just keep at range with a Banisher. They're going to whittle you down. Those missiles absolutely devastate. The Tsar is going to stop any, like, flimsy kind of close range units getting into you. Those Fiends are going to get absolutely obliterated by the Tsars. And then the Tigers are there to just do your general basic damage. Tank a lot. And this is a very good army composition. Now, we see here Totally Not going full left. With Lopatka going full right. He's like, well, I just need to go. Oh, interesting. We see here Spectres now. You don't see these often in a 1v1 game. They are cloaky bots. And if you are very good at timing them and have the energy to keep them cloaked, you can control D them and they will EMP a large area. And we may hopefully see this about to happen. Oh, unfortunately, that second one does not quite get the target done. A large amount of these forces are EMP'd. Does he have any... None of his shurikens are there to help. A single mammoth has come out. That is not going to be enough. But the EMP did a great job. Look how long these were EMP'd for. But here goes the base of Totally Not. And Totally Not calling GG. That was a very good game between both players here. We did actually see a transition to Tech 3 right at the end. But not able to do much in that battle. Well played, Lopatka. Lopatka completely losing his base, but not giving up. Managing to bring it back. And very well played, both players. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.